I really don't think it'll set in. Like the enormity of the New York Pro, I don't think will hit me until probably after the fact. Because as much as you try and live in the moment in scenarios like that, you try and be present and you try and absorb everything, it just becomes a blur. You know, this trip is a culmination of, what, 7 years of bodybuilding now? You know, we're gonna have so much to look back on, we're gonna have so much to reflect on, and these are honestly memories that are gonna be core memories for me and us, I think, for the rest of my life. You know, from the first time I stepped on stage in my first men's physique natty show, the goal was always to continue to get better. I never had like dreams or aspirations, or, you know, it was never a road to pro, or it was never pro card was the end goal. It was, how can I continue to get better and how can I continue to be the best version of myself? And I've just continued to improve on that consistently for a long period of time. And now it's gotten us to the New York Pro. Confidence is going to be the key. Like I know I'm doing the work. I know I've got the right people in my corner. I know I have the ability to be successful, but it's whether or not I can show that, feel that, display that, because confidence is going to be key. And I think anybody that has a lacking confidence in a bodybuilding world, I think that detracts from their success. You have to believe you can be successful at something if you want to accomplish it, I think. I've always been a performer. I've always, you know, when the lights are on, you know, I've always come to the show. I think it's the enormity of being compared to the best in the world is probably something that's instilling fear or doubt per se. It's not the act of presenting myself, it's the comparing to other athletes. I think that's going to be the biggest attraction. So, and I don't know if that confidence is ever going to be, you know, a full-fledged thing. There's always going to be doubt there until such time as we do it and we see where we stack up, and then we know where we're at. So there's only so much I can control until that point. And all I can control is how I look and how I bring myself in. If I can take care of that, then everything else will take care of itself, I think. Welcome back to Laker Nation. This is a new hat, actually. It was my dopamine fix. I decided I needed new hats and new shoes. I don't know if we got these shoes in the tube last time. We had the other white and blue ones. We fly out in 20 days. So I think we'll stay kind of in a really dope location in New York City for like 4 or 5 days. And then we might find a location like super close to the venue for like the day before, day of, and day after the show. Because they're a little bit different about pro shows is they do a morning and a night show. So they have pre-judging and finals. So rather than like what a lot of people would see in Australia or a lot of amateur NPC shows, they just do like your one time out on stage. But with pro shows, they do a pre-judging and then a finals. And there's usually a considerable amount of time in between. You don't want to be in the venue for that. So if we can get ready, go to the morning show, and then we can come back to the hotel room in between maybe and just kind of kick back and get some food in, film some content, relax, put a movie on, and then go back for the night show. So yeah, that's going to be the plan there. So we'll lock that in the next, before we go, we'll have that all locked in and ready to go. Had the high day of food. So we vlogged the high day. That was interesting. My weight went up like 200 grams the next day. And then I was at an all-time low weight this morning. So I was in the 99s this morning. So still above classic pro cap, but like we're almost 98's my cap. So probably got another 2 or 3 kilos to lose, I think. And then we'll be comfortably underweight. So I think, like I said, last prep, kind of figured that my best look would be around like the 97 mark, 96 mark before carb up, which is kind of crazy to comprehend that I was on stage at 92 last time I competed, and I'm going to be 6 kilos heavier at least this time around. Yeah, and I was completely natural for the entire off season. That's another thing I wanted to talk about actually, is that people think anabolics are primarily used for growth. I had a couple of conversations with a couple of clients lately, and they're like, oh, we don't want to push food up until we put PEDs back in. And it's literally the last thing you should do. When you pull PEDs out, often it's more important to put food back in. The most anabolic thing you can put into your body is food. I think people don't understand that. That PEDs and androgens are literally designed to prevent catabolism. So they're literally designed to preserve muscle, not to grow it. Doesn't matter how many PEDs you put into your body. If you're not in a calorie surplus, you physically cannot grow tissue. I mean, there's obviously caveats to that, I'm sure, in some way, shape or form. If you're on your first cycle or you're using ridiculous amounts, you can obviously still grow tissue, but the most anabolic thing you can put into your body is food. So this whole premise and this whole thought process is I've got to be on a full blast to put my calories up and grow is ridiculous, in my opinion. And like, you know, someone like Chris Bumstead will take 3 months off training completely post Olympia, 2 or 3 months training off, like 2 or 3 months of training completely off after the Olympia, and then we'll come back. And he will run through like several health phases, obviously, because he's quite health conscious. And I can pretty well confirm that he only uses pretty relative doses until obviously he gets into deeper points in prep where other compounds come in and food's getting really quite low. So you want to preserve as much muscle as possible. I mean, that's bodybuilding at the end of the day. Lose as much body fat and retain as much muscle tissue as humanly possible. So long story short, eat your fucking meals and get your food in regardless of what androgens are going in. And if you want to grow, eat more food. It's really that simple. Calories, like I had the high carb day, so we did 700 grams of carbs, and it was actually kind of rough to get all the food in because I'm so used to not eating. Obviously, we're in a bit of a deficit. So the fact that I get into the routine of fasting of a morning time, I normally don't eat my first meal until like 11, 12 o'clock some mornings. So I'm super productive of a morning time, and then I'll get my first meal in, and then I usually train after my first meal and then get all my meals in after that. That seems to work best for me. I'm not saying that's the most advantageous way to go about it. There's probably many ways to skin a cat, but that's what's working for me right now. And I'm not upset with the way that I look, and my body's feeling really well. Digestion's really good. I'm still pooping regularly, drinking my water. Output's gone up a little bit. So we're doing 5 cardio sessions a week now. Training splits basically the exact same that it's been for 4 years still. Nothing really changes there. But we're going to train some push and arms today, Mitch. That's the plan, I think. So hopefully the Lakers can even this series against the Nuggets today, and I won't have to kill myself with a guillotine press. Amazing. They're actually dropping a bunch of new flavors of the Muscle Nation bars. So they're doing three new Muscle Nation bars. Should really probably think about making classic weight soon, eh? It's fine. Could you imagine if I had to make an amateur weight cap this year? I'd have to cut a limb off. Look at this guy. Get this guy on the fucking tube. Quad stomp me. Give me a quad stomp. Oh, why not? I gotta love it. Wait, did you use code ORCH for those shorts?
I actually did.
Did you actually?
Yeah, 100%.
Leave him in.
I'll get the receipt.
Leave him in the tube. Code ORCH.
This week.
Leaves this week. Code ORCH, you get to stay in the tube. I'm delirious and I've already taken pre-workout, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm over the top. Belsha's got a new podcast. It's called Zero Boundaries.
Yeah.
And it's like actually zero boundaries. So like first question, she's like, yeah, well she's like, first question, so how fucked did your mental health get? Like, first question straight off the bat.
Yeah.
And like asking me about like past trauma and how I've dealt with coping mechanisms and stuff like that. It's really full on. But like that's just Taylor. You know, when I came into like coaching, it was, I know I had to earn my stripes. I had to earn the right to charge what I thought I should charge for whatever reason. So like my first 5 comp prep clients, I didn't charge. I prepped them for free. Yeah, you're getting real screwed over.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way. I think you'd much prefer paying for the knowledge that I have now compared to what I was like, yeah. So this is like, I mean, I've used this analogy so many times about the mechanic or the guy that has a car broken down and he goes to all the cheap mechanics and the mechanics don't know how to fix it and they spend hours on it. So he goes to a really expensive mechanic and the mechanic charges him like a crazy amount of money, but then hits the engine with a hammer in one spot and fixes the car. And the guy's like, well, why did I pay you so much money when all it took was that one hammer hit? And he's like, because my experience told me exactly where to hit it. That's what you're paying for, not my service.
No one else would have found it.
Exactly right. So same thing. Yeah, so it's the same in a coaching standpoint, is that once you've done the work, once you've earned the respect, once you've got the credibility and the experience, then your value is determined by that. It's like supply and demand, right? So, and you'd obviously want fewer number clients at a higher price rate so you can give those clients more attention rather than trying to coach 100 people for $20 a week and trying to give them all the same service. It just doesn't work that way. Make sense? So that's the goal for you, is to like get to a point from a skill standpoint where you're providing a high quality service so you can charge a high quality price and then you can give that service and still make a healthy income without running yourself into the ground and feeling like you're coaching 400 people for no return on investment. Three hours later. Not me starting a chest workout the exact same way that I start a chest workout every fucking time. Me. We might do something different today. Also me. Doesn't do anything different. You know what's weird, right? How like the deeper you get into prep, like different ways to know that you're leaner, right? So obviously like the way that your clothes fit, blah, blah, blah. Like we spoke about the Apple Watch band, like my necklace. I've got left arm veins. I must be shredded. If my left arm's got veins in it, I must be peeled. No, when I'm super lean, my necklace like hangs really low. So I don't have a fat neck like in my off season. So the circumference of my neck actually shrinks. So it feels like the chain gets longer the deeper I get into prep. Because I swear if we go back to the first video on the tube, it's probably a choker around my neck. And now it like, does your chain hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? You know? So Winstrel's been in for 2 days now. Just makes you look like a fucking sick cunt. Just gets you like super dry, super grainy. Helps stimulate performance a little bit as well. So might quickly race to the toilet. It's that point in prep now where I piss every like 2 hours. I've got the Tom Rodriguez syndrome. Well, so you do all that through the app. So you do your check-ins through the app as well. Yeah, cool.
So,
done.
Okay, follow me out.
I love it, bro.
Easy done.
Appreciate it, man. New athlete coming on board. We're gonna do season B, junior national titles. It's gonna be elite. Hang on, actually, I'll show you the photo. I'll show you the photo that he sent me this morning. How heavy were you on the left there?
127.
127, and what are you now? 107. I completely forgot that the Lakers game was on, and we fucking lost by 2.
Who'd you play?
Denver Nuggets. I am so furious.
That was so dramatic.
I'm so furious. I hope my phone's broken. You know what's crazy is I was watching a Beard Meats Food video this morning, and he was in some like place in like Charlotte, fucking North Carolina, and they had one of those out the front, and he's like, as if people still waste electricity on a fucking... We're gonna use this hammer strength plate loaded converging slight incline press. Due to the nature of my current body fat levels, the idea of throwing around heavy dumbbells, probably not ideal for the rest of the prep. As much as I'd love to throw some 70s around today, and if I really wanted to, I probably could, probably not ideal. So we're gonna stick to some machine work. We're still gonna create tension, still gonna create load, but staying in more of a fixed plane. So when we are moving heavier loads in our compounds, we can put obviously a lot of emphasis on the target areas that we want to emphasize. So for me right now, it's obviously chest, triceps, and then biceps after that. But this machine's really good because it's slightly inclined, it converges, and it's quite a comfortable movement for me as well, which is good. So we can work up on that. I don't like to say playing it safe. Like I don't really play it safe in prep, but I definitely train smarter, not harder. So it's like working out what movements are going to be beneficial, what movements are going to be advantageous, what movements are potentially dangerous. So like, I'm not barbell back squatting. I'm not going to throw around heavy ass dumbbells, you know, with shit form, because the potential for injury and the risk versus reward in terms of what I'm getting from that exercise is outweighed. I spoke about it the other day because I RDL'd 240 for 6 the other day still, which is pretty crazy to comprehend. But I mean, that was something where it was on a high day, so I knew I had the food in my system. I warmed up adequately. It was my 3rd exercise in, so I sufficiently warmed up my hamstrings and my lats and lower back before I performed the movement, and then worked my way up to that weight rather than jumping straight to it. So that's a sort of an area of time where it was susceptible and safe to sort of move heavier loads in that way. But, you know, food's gone back to being lower again. Joints are starting to dry out a little bit, like conditioning is getting to a pretty crispy level. So it's like, how can we stimulate but not annihilate? That's kind of where we're at right now. We're not trying to build new tissue. We can't build new tissue 4 weeks out from a show, but we want to refine what we've got with heavy load, with proper contraction, but in a safe and sustainable way that we're not hurting ourselves. Wow. Nah, step back over Anthony Davis. We might get swept.
You will after that.
Yeah, that's heartbreaking. They were doing a talking about warming up and activating. So it's like what, 2 feeder sets, then 2 working sets on this fly, and then 2 feeder sets, and then 2 working sets here on the press. And then we'll do 1 feeder set, 2 working sets on the next incline press. And then we don't need to warm up or activate or anything for triceps and biceps. We should already be stimulated, should already have enough blood flow. We just go straight into it and so I find the deeper I go into prep, like my strength doesn't regress, but my endurance within a set will regress. So like I could pretty comfortably do 5 plates here, strength wise, but the longevity of the set will be extremely compromised. So I can work at 4 plates, aim for like a set of 8, and then maybe a set of 6 after that. Or I might even back it off to 3 plates and do like a higher volume set there. And that'll be all the stimulus we need for the first working exercise. And then we'll do maybe a high incline, possibly. It's starting to like really dry out now. So like the cuts are like really starting to get deeper, and there's only 1 carb meal in today as well. Tom was talking about a plan earlier, so we'll probably check in tomorrow. See where I'm at with my weight and my look and things like that, and then we'll probably do low day, high day again, I think. So we'll go berry, try and get me under my weight cap, and then refeed up, and then just kind of balance it around that 97 kilo mark. So suck me down, fill me back up, suck me. What? All right, so we're gonna aim for, I think 8. 8 will be elite here. If we can get 8, then we're fucking on. This is Drake's diss track to Kendrick. Fucking banger. No, not yet. All right, let's see how we go. Good. Pretty perfect, 8 reps, right on point. It's given me the ability to attack this part of prep with meticulousness, intensity, and calculation, is because we started prep from so far out. We've been really calculated with the way we go about it. It's not been foot to the floor for 12 weeks straight like it has been in the past. It's bit by bit, chip away. And now we're 4 weeks out. We can put the foot down with intensity and get the most out of this 4 weeks, rather than trying to drag myself through the last 4 weeks because I've had the foot to the floor and the rev limiters off the fucking charts for the last 8 weeks before that. So much more locked in now, so much more focused. And, you know, having people around me that are, you know, communicating that my mentality, my mood, my perception of reality has been almost normal for the majority of this prep is really good feedback. Really good feedback means that we're humming. Different between me and a lot of other people is I've competed and prepped, you know, a few times now, and by no stretch of the imagination was I this calculated and this meticulous and this switched on, you know, for my first few preps. Obviously it's a learning process, it's a filling out process. You know, I've had situations and preps in the past where I've gone too hard for too long. I've had situations in the past where I haven't pushed hard enough in certain circumstances, or I haven't been as meticulous as I should have been. And it's about finding that balance of when to relax, when to push, when to put the foot down, when to really maximize the return on investment, and when to let the body heal and recover or regenerate for whatever reason. And it's a fine balance, and sometimes I still even get it wrong to this day, but like anything else, bodybuilding is just a matter of consistency. So if we can have as many good days in a row before we have a bad day, we go back to having good days again. As soon as you like tick those boxes more frequently than you don't, things start to become a habit, things start to click, things start to happen, and you become more motivated to continue to be consistent because you're seeing results. 10-pound tuck, baby. You know the rules. Tears and tuck shirts. 8, here's the goal again. Spot on. This is good because it slightly converges too, and it's probably a slight incline, which is good. Someone's delightfully left their weights on for us, so that's amazing. We'll superset this with a tricep dip as well. Now, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, Mitch, but you might see the best side chest you've ever seen in your life today, in person. Yeah, so it's all well and good to be near on your cap if you're fat, but if you've got peeled glutes and striated serratus and lat veins, cross striations in your quads, and you're at the top of your weight cap, and it's not like my structure and my shape is a weakness of mine, like proportions are where they're at. Just fucking do it. It's good. Fuck. First. Bit of decline action with a bit of tricep action. Good. Then we just go play around with some cables, then we're pretty much done. Top 10 would be, I would be ecstatic. I would be ecstatic with the top 10. If I can finish in the top half, so no matter how many people are in the show, if I can be better than 50%, that is like way beyond any of my expectations of what I could possibly even hope to accomplish. Because I'm such a like high intensity trainer, like I train with high intensity, and whenever I do like super specific isolation movements, I don't feel like I'm working hard enough, so I always just have to superset them. Let's go for days. I could easily go a day and not eat anything and not even be phased even remotely. I just flip a switch in my head. Like yesterday, I ate such little food, and I got home and I was like, I could not eat and go to bed and it wouldn't be a problem. Single arm preacher. Men's physique. back to get some treatment with Mario, pick up Rosa, rinse and repeat, do it all over again. 4 weeks out, 3 weeks until we leave. Content's gonna be fucking next level for the next 3 weeks. It's gonna be insane. So, and then once we're in New York, it's gonna be almost every other day. So content thick and fast. Put the bag down, because you know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.